There's a new biotech ruling from the EPA. We'll cover El Niño news and talk about a new mega study for the Mississippi River, all on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
We're back. We're here.
We are.
We're
it's
cold.
Thursday. I don't know. I think it started to temper. I almost brought a jacket down, and I'm okay today.
I mean, since it's warming up outside, maybe
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
feel
hoping.
as cold as I usually would.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a hot-natured person to begin with, so it's not bad.
Yeah, but usually this room can outperform any of that.
Yeah, it's true.
Welcome, Nora Lee Townsend, who is our PR intern for the summer.
Yeah.
In the
Congratulations.
studio today for the show. We're so glad to have you. And you're going to keep us straight today and make sure that we don't have too much fun and get some news out while we're here.
Good luck.
I noticed Matthew's missing.
Again.
I know. Well, I thought it might have something to do with the trap shoot. You guys are going head-to-head tomorrow.
Against
And
Matthew?
Yeah.
He's got a team?
Yeah, he's on a team.
Who's he with?
I don't know.
He didn't ask me to be on his team.
Yeah. Well, he got recruited,
Oh.
I'll say. I do think it's a team from O&P, but I thought maybe you guys might be beefing.
Did y'all two stir up the waters on that?
Did we?
Well, McMahon and so-and-so and so-and-so are over there
No comment.
planning.
yeah,
No-
exactly.
no
No
comment.
comment.
I figured O&P would have something put together.
They did.
They did last
do.
year. I think they placed pretty well last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or year before?
They told me they were going to win it all, but I'm just the messenger.
We'll see about that.
So, do you guys' teams have names?
We do.
Okay.
But
I think we might have talked about this before. That's a secret. isn't it?
I'm going to wait till it's announced
Okay.
at the foundation.
Oh, they're
wanting
just
us
going to say it like
Yeah.
on the mic. On the
The
PA.
guy, I'm hoping he's going to like get halfway through it and just be awkward saying it, you know?
I'm telling
And
you,
then everybody's going to stop and look. And who are those people? You know?
I heard the name
Did you?
already.
Oh, you
just
did?
a little while ago.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not going to share it either,
Well, good.
but I will tell you, I am serious when I say, if I don't see jorts and fake mullets,
Oh, man. Real mullets. What are you talking about?
well, it's going to be hard for him to grow a mullet before tomorrow.
Do you want me to shave down into the sharp sideburns and
Yeah.
trashy mustache?
if that's what you feel.
Yeah.
So,
I'll buy the mullet wig if they wear it at the trap shoot.
I don't know if I can find one big enough for my head. that would be the issue.
Surely.
Maybe.
Surely. I have faith in you. Did y'all know something? Today, I went back and looked. Today is, not today, on June 5th, which was Monday, was the 6-month anniversary of us doing this show.
Really?
Under this format with the set, Johnny Mac, and all in this room. Feels like a week.
Man, time flies.
Yeah.
it does.
Look at us now.
Look at us go.
See what we've done here. It's impressive.
Yeah, 6 months on June 5th. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see here. Speaking of trap shoot, we have been celebrating Arkansas Farm Bureau Foundation Week all week. If you've seen our social channels, there's been a bit of a takeover there. We featured a different aspect of the foundation every day on our social channels, mostly through video and photos and things like that. So
Yeah.
some really interesting, fun stuff. I think yesterday was MASH. Earlier this week, we had Economics Arkansas. We took a group of economics teachers, high school and junior high economics teachers from across the state on farm tours. So we documented that, which was, I just think that's one of the coolest programs. I got to learn a little bit about that this week. And the fact that we are taking those economics teachers, not ag teachers, not FFA sponsors, whatever, but those economics teachers and teaching them about Arkansas agriculture. You had a chance to be involved with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or did y'all chat with them?
We put a presentation together for them. They were running a little late, but we weren't able to give it. But we do have a copy of it that we're supposed to send out to all of them.
Nice.
I think it's a great program because in high school we didn't have an econ teacher in Stuttgart, and I've probably said that several times.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
So when I got to college, I didn't even know what the word econ was, but
yeah,
that was the major I chose.
Yeah.
So it was just they really need to be teaching that in high school. And
well, we took them to visit a couple farms, took them to have a great lunch along the way. And I think they did a little precursor here in the building. So that was really cool. Mm-hmm. Thanks to y'all for coming out. But today, as part of the Foundation Week, we are celebrating Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry. Mm-hmm. And that's important because back in March, we announced a partnership with the organization with an initial gift of $25,000 that could triple with other donations.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is we gave $25,000 and then we put out a $25,000 matching grant for any Farm Bureau county that wanted to donate to Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry. So if everybody, if that goes all the way down the line, that's a potential for that's $75,000 donation in that organization, which is huge. Yeah. And the reason that we did this is because most folks, I should say, some folks don't always know this. We always battle that Farm Bureaus and insurance company thing. But we do so much in the communities that we serve, or the communities where we are, which is all 75 counties in the state. And part of that is always fighting food insecurity. Yeah, which is kind of today's focus. Well, Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry, they do just that. If you kill a deer,
absolutely,
and you don't want to keep it for yourself, maybe you've already got 2 for the season, whatever that may be, you can take it. These guys have got 60 processors across the state.
Yep,
who will take that deer, you field dress it, they'll take it, process it, and turn it out to families who need it through local food banks and shelters and things like that. And by the way, if you live in Pulaski County like we do, and you take that to a processor in Pulaski County, that protein is going to stay in Pulaski County.
Really?
Well, yeah. So what about this donation we were just talking about? Well, Hunters Feeding the Hungry, Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry just launched in the recent years, I should say, a snack stick program.
Yeah.
Because we all, a lot of us know, and a lot of our county farm bureaus get involved in the school backpack program, sending food backpacks home with kids who might not have food on the weekends. Well, they couldn't get protein in those things, and so
that's where the snack sticks comes from.
That's where it comes from, because it's shelf stable. You got protein. Kids love them. They eat them up. As a matter of fact, I had a plan for us to open the show by eating some, and you know what?
You ate them all.
Well,
you don't want to share.
I did eat all the ones that I had, but I started going around the office. I started going around the office. Hey, who's got a snack stick? Hey. No, they're all gone. We don't have any up here anymore.
We need some more.
So I do think Ronnie Ritter with that organization is going to drop some off later today.
Yeah.
But we record the show in the morning. So
it's a great program. My father-in-law's deer camp just joined in on that too.
Yeah.
And I've donated several deer throughout my life of hunting. Yeah. I mean, it's a great program because we have an abundance of venison in this state. So
that's it. And he says so many of their deer come from urban hunts.
Yeah,
just based on population control alone. I know in my yard, it's nothing to wake up and see 2 or 3 deer right out.
We live in Leawood, right in the middle of town, and we've got a big creek that runs through our backyard.
We're the same way, yeah.
And they just travel up and down that ridge.
Yeah, they love it. Man.
Sometimes they're in our backyard. So
yeah, exactly. So anyway, we just wanted to bring some attention to Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry, since we're recording a podcast today and they're being featured on Facebook. Again, the trap shoot tomorrow is sort of the culmination of Foundation Week. So all this that we've really talked about so far today ties back into Foundation Week. So you can also go and just donate to the foundation. there's plenty of information. I think we've posted a way to give and be a part of that every day on our social channels.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you're coming to the trap shoot, bring some canned goods.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The Fill the Ford program, is that what they're doing?
Fill the Ford. I think Pulaski County's heading up Fill the Ford program. So any kind of non-perishable food items, we've got boxes on every floor of the Farm Bureau Center.
Yep.
Taking donations. If you're coming out there to watch, to shoot, whatever you're coming to do tomorrow in Jacksonville, bring some food and drop it in that Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Perfect.
Next week, you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Arkansas Farmers Market Week.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been talking about farmers markets every episode.
It's in season. When harvest comes around, we're going to be talking about...
We're going to be sad that we aren't talking about farmers markets.
But we're going to be talking about rice and soybeans and corn.
Yeah.
But, next week is Arkansas Farmers Market Week. And Friday, they're having a proclamation for it at the Ag Department.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not going to be able to attend, but we'll have some people here from the office there
at the
proclamation. I'll be at the trap shoot winning trophies. So
wow.
You heard it here first.
In your jorts.
In my jorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on next week's episode, if they don't win anything, I want to have a clip of that and a record scratch.
It's fine. I can take it.
It's a photo of Mac walking to his truck in Jacksonville with his crying. They didn't win any awards.
Throw my head on the ground. Yeah. But I would be. I made plans to go to the foundation before I found out about this. So
yeah, this is a good
Especially crop local foods guys should be there, but I'm not going to make it.
You're working for philanthropy here.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I'm doing good deeds.
But yeah, we'll be there. I think we're planning to have some content out. Following that. Mm-hmm. So we'll pick up your lightweight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What would I do without him?
Let me see what else. Oh, so today's June 8th. I thought we'd have a little fun here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep, sure is.
It's National Best Friends Day.
Is it?
That's us.
Look at us.
Look at us. The three best friends that anybody could ever have.
Those poor saps that don't have us.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that.
That kind of made me feel like the Hangover, like with him singing that little song. Because we're the best friends.
Three best friends that anybody could have.
We're the wolf pack, baby. That's what it is. We're the wolf pack.
Yeah. Well, we're three now. We are four.
Oh man, it's also National Karen Day, which I got a good kick out of, and then I realized it's not that Karen. Yeah. It's just like people named Karen. So to our own Karen Wood on SAP.
Congratulations on National Karen
Day. It's National Karen Day. All right. Well, I guess we ought to get into some news, and I know you've got that EPA story up first.
Yep.
It's a bit of a long haul.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
Yep, there you go.
Try to pay attention. EPA is back in the news. I feel like I've been following them quite a bit.
You're the EPA correspondent.
Oh, I don't need that. I don't need any more responsibility. But it's newsworthy, so I'm going to report on it. So like I said, EPA is in the news again. They have made a final rule on gene-edited plants. Sorry. Mm-hmm. About a year ago, the USDA began exempting certain gene-edited changes to the plants, but the EPA is taking a much tougher stance on the issue. Coming from a final rule published last week, the EPA said, like the USDA, it will exempt gene-edited plants from an in-depth review process if the change could have been achieved with conventional breeding. However, under EPA's mandate to ensure safety for humans and wildlife, EPA will still require developers to submit data showing that plants that have been gene-edited to resist pests, for example, by producing more of a naturally occurring toxic protein, mm-hmm. won't harm other components of the plant's ecosystem or sicken people.
Okay.
So there are 3 federal agencies who regulate genetically modified crops in the U.S. USDA being one, for example, would evaluate whether a biotech crop might harm agriculture by becoming a noxious weed. The EPA focuses on whether or not a plant-incorporated protectant might harm farm workers or wildlife, and the FDA is more geared towards food safety.
Right.
So those are your top 3.
Okay.
For 20 years or more, all three agencies have reviewed crops engineered to contain DNA from other species, which is a highly time-consuming process that can cost industries millions of dollars in testing. Until now, the extent of agency oversight hasn't been clear on gene-edited crops in which DNA is modified but not moved between species.
That makes sense.
USDA's finalized rule from last year limited their oversight on the matter, which removed researchers' requirements to ask for approval if they could give a crop a new trait that already exists naturally in a sexually compatible plant.
Okay.
So just breeding practices there.
Right. Yeah.
As I mentioned above or earlier, the EPA, however, has taken a different approach. They announced that they will use the conventional breeding exemption for many gene-edited crops, but unlike USDA, the agency will require companies to submit confirmatory safety data, such as evidence that changes don't increase pesticide levels beyond those found in food from conventional crops. Again, they're still operating in their scope of not wanting to harm surrounding plant life or wildlife or humans.
Right.
This new ruling by EPA has been followed with a lot of opposition. In a hearing yesterday on the Farm Bill horticulture title, University of Arkansas's Associate Professor for Horticulture, Margaret Lee Worthington, testified and told the subcommittee on Food and Nutrition, Specialty Crops, Organics, and Research that the new rule threatens U.S. biotech innovation and creates new market barriers for small producers. According to Worthington, the new rule creates a great deal of concern in the plant breeding community due to the unnecessary regulatory burdens it will create for producers and the fact that it puts the U.S. at odds with a growing list of international regulatory authorities that have used a science-based rationale to streamline their policies to support the commercialization of innovative products. Senator John Bozeman, ranking member of the Senate Ag Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry, commented saying this rule will frustrate U.S. innovation, drive companies to export their staff, investments, and technologies to other international competitors, and create market barriers that only the largest multinational corporations can overcome. In short, EPA's Plant Incorporated Protectants, or PIP, rule puts American farmers and consumers last. More significant, it removes another tool from the toolbox that specialty crop producers and all producers so desperately need. To kind of finish it up here, Worthington summed up her testimony by saying the following. There has been so much investment through Farm Bill-sponsored programs in research and plant breeding. We find all these disease-resistant genes. We do all this work, and what is going to do is make more difficult to commercialize these products. Ultimately, I think you are going to see more consolidation in the industry with this regulation, and the innovation will be on a few large crops by a few very large companies. Sorry. I would advocate for a more product rather than process-based regulatory framework. Worthington also said, I want to highlight that the new EPA rule is a setback for interagency alignment. It is in direct conflict with USDA's recent revisions to its regulations, and it is also out of step with a lot of other countries, including our number one seed trading partner, Canada, which is a very progressive science-based policy on regulation of these plant incorporated protectants. So the new ruling, we've got some Arkansas representatives that are clearly against it. I will add that Dr. Worthington is taking over for Dr. Clark. John
That's
Clark,
what I was going to ask.
In Clarksville at their blackberry breeding facility. They do a fantastic job, by the way.
Man, we were talking before the show started about the older versions of the podcast and different formats and things like that. I got to interview Dr. Clark 3 or 4
that was a trip,
times.
wasn't it?
Man, all respect because he's so awesome.
Yeah.
Matthew I would often record in his office, and he'd be recording, and he would be over there like asleep because we'd be on the phone for an hour and a half recording that podcast. Yeah, inevitably, you know what came out? That guitar.
Did it?
Oh yeah, man, that guitar would have to make its way out because he records.
Yeah,
a lot of the music that the university uses in their videos.
Really,
Dr. Clark plays and records.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
he and I always end up talking about Razorback baseball.
We had talked about at one time using, and maybe we did use some of his stuff.
We did.
I know for sure. I did a video on a wine grape that he's like, by the way, I'll send you this music track, and we used it to sort of background a video or something. That
we did. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's
anyway, so
very talented.
More you know.
Knowledgeable, talented.
Dr. Clark Tidbit.
Impressive person. So
great voice. I mean,
Yeah, truly.
Awesome.
Oh, I called him one day, and this is the last story I'll give. But I called him one day.
Stories.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm best at. And he's like, "Oh, Jason, hello." I'm like, "Hey, am I bothering you?" No, I'm just here on the vineyard where cotton candy grapes were invented.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? And it turns out, you probably know this, like the gene origins for cotton candy grapes came from his work.
Yeah.
So the university's work here in Arkansas, and then purchased out there. And he was like at the vineyard, just like eating cotton candy grapes off the vine.
Yeah.
He always had some kind of crazy story.
You can be about anywhere in the world and eat a blackberry, and the odds are that it came or was developed at the University of Arkansas or went through the University of Arkansas in Clarksville are very, very high.
Yeah.
Very high.
I want to be clear, he's just retired.
Yes.
I know we've talked past tense a lot, but he's
Dr.
retired.
Worthington is, I would say, almost a mirror of him in some sense. She is very talented, she's very well spoken, and can just control an audience. She's a big personality, really great to work with.
So I'd be curious, and you may not know the answer to this, but number one, does you think this is CRISPR?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I figured as much.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's the big, when you talk gene editing, CRISPR is the first word that comes to mind.
Yeah. This article was kind of hinting at CRISPR and that this may have hindered some of the developments with that.
Which is a real shame.
Yeah. And the researchers were really disappointed in how this all kind of worked out.
Yeah. And then I can only assume a lawsuit will be at hand.
More than likely. That's
somewhere.
how things work.
Okay. All right. Well, you are.
I'm not a lawyer.
Also the lawsuit correspondent. So
I'm not going to talk about economics anymore. It's just going to be about.
Well,
I got the weather coming up next.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, speaking of weather, it's a focus on everybody's mind right now, which has an obvious impact on crop quality. We're going to track that crop progress as we move through the summer. Here are the numbers for as of June 5th when this report was released. The core crop's in the ground, as we reported last week, but our eyes turn to crop conditions this week. The entire crop has emerged. 2% is at silking stage, yet only half the crop is rated good to excellent. This is a 20% drop over last week, and I want to say that again. We saw a 20% drop in that good to excellent crop quality column this week over last. Most likely due to the ongoing dry conditions. You're starting to see that sort of drought watch line on maps, the U.S. Drought Center across the top third of the state. So I did talk to a farmer this week who said he was preparing to water his corn for a third time.
Yeah.
I know they use soil moisture sensors too, but he noted that an inch plus of rain would save them a lot of money on water and energy right now. So let's hope that we can get some precipitation soon.
Watering corn for a third time. I mean, what was it last year, year before? No, it wasn't last year. We went through a drought last year. Year before, I think maybe I heard people watering corn once.
Yeah.
We'd gotten so much rain.
Third time, first week of June.
Yeah.
So cotton planting is done as of this week. 92% has emerged, and crop quality actually increased to more than 80% in the good to excellent quality category. Still looking at around 5% in the poor column, though. But again, I would say that's probably minimal there.
Yeah.
We're going to declare peanut planting done with a big jump in emergence this week to 91%. The crop continues to be in great shape, too, with more than 90% of peanuts in Arkansas rated good to excellent by farmers in the state. Moving on to rice, USDA finally declared planting done with nearly all the crop emerged. Crop quality is holding at 60+% good to excellent, but we say that fair rating. We saw that fair rating column sort of tick up quite a bit this week, nearly a 10% increase.
I think that's weather related too.
It's, I don't know. It's hard to say if it's flooded.
You sound like an economist. It just depends,
Look,
Too many variables.
I don't have an answer. Where you've got me waiting is agronomy, and I know I'll get lost there real quick. So
me too.
Soybeans are almost completely planted with 94% in the ground and 87% emerged. 23% of the crop is blooming, which is truly amazing when you look at the 5-year average. And I saw wrote this yesterday.
Yeah.
On Twitter this morning, I saw a story. It was like, from I think Department of Ag put it out or something, but it was like historic progress on soybeans this year. So I said that before I completed that sentence, so I'll finish. We are at 23% of the crop blooming in Arkansas soybean crop.
Okay.
The 5-year average this week is 5%.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it almost you'd almost think it's an error.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the crop quality on soybeans continues to mimic almost exactly what we're seeing in rice. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And then rounding this out, the first hay cutting of the year took a big jump this week to 75% done. I think it was half done last week. The quality is still looking to suffer around 40% good to excellent, with a good chunk of that of the crop overall rated as fair. I know there's some rain in the forecast today and through the weekend.
Yeah,
I actually saw just before we came down here, they've issued a potential for some severe weather in southwest Arkansas on Saturday. I think we're going to get wet Saturday one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm going to the lake, so we're bound to. I know lots of farmers would appreciate that rain, though, and we'll just have to see what happens and keep an eye on crop quality as we move into next week.
So do you think, since we've got 23% of this crop already blooming, you think we're having an early harvest this year?
You know what?
Does that correlate?
All right, my memory tells me at one point we said, or I may have said, we've got some farmers trying to get out of here before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That was a month or two ago. I think we're there. I mean,
nobody
we're
wants to
still
be farming
running
during duck season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we have seen my first year here in 2021, we saw awful flooding in June.
Southeast Arkansas.
Nobody wants to see that. We're still at a net positive on precipitation this year in the state, even as dry as it is right now because of how wet it was in the spring. But goodness gracious, I hope everybody gets to be done early.
I watered my yard yesterday for the first time this year.
Yeah, I'm watering mine, that's for sure. All right, well, let's take a short break from the news to hear a reminder about keeping rural roads safe this time of year.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
It's so important that we work together to keep each other safe on the roads. You may find yourself on the road with a farmer moving hay, and this time of year, right now, we're seeing those row crop implements too. Let's just all be safe to help one another cultivate safe roads. Now let's get back to the news.
All right.
Well, we were just talking about weather.
I stepped on your toes, didn't I?
Let's continue to talk about some weather. So last week, the U.S. National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, declared that we have officially transitioned out of La Niña and into El Niño. Its natural climate phenomenon fuels tropical cyclones in the Pacific and boosts rainfall and flood risk in parts of the Americas. Scientists seem to be particularly worried about this upcoming change, probably because in 2016 was the last time El Niño was here. At its peak during that time, the world saw its hottest year on record. So meteorologists are fully expecting this El Niño, coupled with excess warming already, to create even higher world temperatures. El Niño means that waters in the eastern Pacific are warmer than normal, but before El Niño begins, the average global sea surface temperature was about 0.2 degrees higher than any other on record. This factor could increase our chances of extreme weather exponentially. According to a study published last month in the journal called Science, this year's El Niño could lead to global economic losses of $3 trillion, shrinking GDP as extreme weather decimates agricultural production, manufacturing, and help spread disease. El Niño forms when the trade winds blowing east to west along the equatorial Pacific slow down or reverse as air pressure changes, but it is unknown what initiates the cycle. Because the trade winds affect the sun-warmed surface waters, a weakening causes those warm western Pacific waters to slosh back into the colder central eastern Pacific basins. During the 2015-16 El Nino, the strongest such event on record, like I said earlier, anchovy stocks off the coast of Peru crashed amid this warm water incursion, and nearly a third of the corals on Australia's Great Barrier Reef died.
Oh my gosh!
In too warm of waters, corals will expel living algae, causing them to calcify and turn white.
Yeah.
This buildup of warm water in the eastern Pacific also transfers heat into the atmosphere through convection, generating thunderstorms, which we're very common to see here in the state of Arkansas.
That's right.
This shift in storm activity affects the current of fast-flowing air that moves weather around the world, called the subtropical jet stream, pushing its path southward and straightening it out into a flatter stream that delivers similar weather along the same latitudes. During an El Nino, the southern United States experiences cooler and wetter weather, while parts of the U.S., West, and Canada are warmer and drier. Historically, both El Nino and La Nina have occurred about every 2 to 7 years on average, with El Nino lasting 9 to 12 months. However, La Nina, which takes hold when waters are cooler in the Eastern Pacific, can last 1 to 3 years.
Yeah, I was watching a forecast on just hurricane season, and I guess in an El Nino time, for lack of a better term, we actually expect to see fewer hurricanes, especially in the Gulf and the Southeast, and it all ties back to water temperature and some of the things that you reported here. So, wetter, cooler temperature or time is interesting to see here.
And we could end up seeing some more floods.
Drought. Yeah. I almost wish I wouldn't have said that earlier. We'll certainly keep an eye on that, and we'll see. All right, I'll wrap up with some news out of the New Orleans district of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers today. The New Orleans district of the Corps will launch a 5-year, $25 million mega study called the Lower Mississippi River Comprehensive Management Study to deliver recommendations for effective and practical management of the Mississippi River from Cape Girardeau, Missouri to the Gulf of Mexico.
Cool.
Yeah. The purpose of the study is to identify recommendations for the comprehensive management of the region across multiple purposes, including hurricane and storm damage reduction, flood risk management, structure and non-structural flood control, floodplain management strategies, navigation, ecosystem and environmental restoration, and water supply, hydropower, production, recreation, and other purposes as determined by the Secretary of the Army. The study area encompasses 7 states: Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and Tennessee, making the study unprecedented in size and scope. Yeah. Per the implementation guidance from WRDA 2020, the New Orleans district commander will lead the study, supported by personnel from 4 core districts within the Mississippi Valley Division: New Orleans, Vicksburg, Mississippi, and St. Louis districts. The release notes that active participation and collaboration from the public and stakeholders throughout the 5-year endeavor will be critical to identifying practical and sustainable recommendations for successful management of the river. There will be public meetings and other opportunities to give input or track the project. For more information, keep an eye out on the New Orleans District's website and social media accounts, and I can assure you we'll continue to give a heads up here, especially when those opportunities are here in Arkansas.
Yeah, we did a big article on the drought and how low the river got back in the fall, or early fall.
Yeah.
And looking at this list, man, must have a bunch of people involved with this.
Yeah, it's a massive project. I mean, what is it?
Was there a timeline?
2, 4, 5. It's a 5-year project.
Okay.
But it's being led by the New Orleans district, but it encompasses 4 different districts: Memphis, Vicksburg, St. Louis, like I said, and St. Louis. So it's going to be a massive undertaking. But I think maybe last year and what happened, maybe a hopefully prompted them, or got some attention. So
with everything that's been going on, and whether it's there was that flooding we were talking about that backed up onto everybody's farms and stuff a few years back. So
yeah, feast or famine.
Something good comes of it
these days. Yeah. Well, how about you, Mr. Pistole?
You guys had some hard reads this week. I mean,
reading can be difficult at times
for a couple guys like us, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of news to cover this week. I've got 2 or 3 things for next week saved.
Well, we'll see if we can make it harder. So,
oh boy,
I don't doubt your ability to do so.
You guys started this year with riddles, and
we complained.
You begged me to go to trivia.
Yeah.
Do you wish I'd go back to riddles?
Well, I was just thinking before the show started, I was like, we haven't gotten hardly any of these right since we switched over to.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but since you brought it up.
My dad brings it up every week.
You got to take time to self-reflect, and your riddles are part of that.
I know the questions I ask are random. So,
the riddles sometimes give me an icebreaker in a meeting or a conversation. I'll bust one of those
true.
out.
Did you know?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, how far can you walk into the forest?
We've been on a what's illegal.
Oh, I did. We did that. We were camping with some friends, and there's a 14-year-old who's with us, and they're. Boy, it's such easy targets. They're just kind of, all the time. And I asked him that question, and I think he hurt his head.
Yeah, I bet you felt pretty smart.
Oh man,
I love it.
It's pretty fun.
I love it.
Pretty fun. So it lives on.
It usually gets everybody. So that riddle will live in infamy.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
And that's the one that came from your dad, right?
Yeah.
Or,
it's a popular one. You can find it out there, but that was one of his favorites.
Yeah.
He would bring that up. And
that's pretty fun.
It would get people every time.
Yeah, that's fun.
So
it's a good one.
We've been on an illegal kick here lately.
Yes.
So figured we continue.
We need a courtroom set. Reporting all this,
gavel,
news. Yeah.
All right. This is only in June.
Okay.
In Wyoming. It is illegal to take a picture of what?
Illegal or legal?
Illegal. Illegal to take a picture of what in June in Wyoming?
Is it an animal?
Yeah, it's a buffalo.
It is an animal.
It's a buffalo.
It's buffalo.
I don't know. I mean, that's what my guess.
Final answer?
White buffalo?
White buffalo.
One was born the other day. I read the article on it.
A rabbit.
A rabbit.
Yeah.
No rabbit photo.
That's almost kind of like a Jenny fact.
It feels very much like that. I'll give that.
She's not here, so I thought I'd just
but,
throw some of these randomness out there.
Yeah.
All right. 0 for 1.
Yeah, we are.
It is illegal for women to wear what in 19th century Florence?
A hat.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that might have been.
Yeah.
That
Clearly
is
I
not
wasn't right.
A jacket, a coat, an overgarment.
Gloves.
No. None of those.
None of that.
Buttons.
Buttons.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. To wear buttons.
All right.
So,
I wonder what the deal with buttons were.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a story there.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of these days.
0 for 2.
Yep.
All right. In Minnesota, it is illegal to tease what type of animal?
A dog.
Minnesota, it's illegal to tease.
Bird.
Oh,
I would think it would be illegal to tease this animal in most places.
in
bear?
general. Oh,
In general.
Yeah, that's it. A bear,
No.
for sure.
Shark.
No.
I got so many in Minnesota.
They're full up.
All right.
All right. What is it?
Mountain lion.
A skunk.
A skunk.
Why would you go about teasing a skunk?
Well, that's why they made it illegal.
Yeah,
Make
that's
sure
right. That's
nobody's
right.
out there doing it.
No, you're looking at it wrong. They made it
Okay.
illegal because somebody was doing that.
That's fair. That's fair.
They had to go that far to make a rule. They said, you can't do this anymore. Quit it.
Yeah.
You know, because that's pretty common sense.
Yeah. The whole state just smelled terrible.
They must not have much to do. That's all I can think of.
I think that's most of what this is. I mean, these weird laws. It's somebody too much time on their hands.
Well, Leroy was out there teasing that skunk, and they couldn't take it anymore.
That's right. That's right. Well,
it's disrupting the economy.
I did have one more to add in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We probably won't get it.
How many teeth does an aardvark have?
An aardvark.
Aardvark.
Trying to picture an aardvark.
Long snoot. Kind of like an anteater.
Oh.
It's 126.
I'll go $1, Bob. I mean, I don't have
He's
no
going
idea.
$1. He's betting $1.
Would you believe none?
That was good.
Oh.
So technically, I got closer than you did.
You did.
Yeah.
You technically.
I was throwing that out there because I thought it might be easier.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I thought that long.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's just a snoot.
So, pop culture stuff. Do you remember the Ant and the Aardvark, the old cartoon series?
I do. I do remember that.
Do you remember who voiced the
I don't. I can see it in my head.
It was John Biner.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would we know John Biner?
Yeah.
He did great impressions of.
Oh, I know his face. I'm looking him up now.
Yeah, he did great impressions of Dean Martin and Jackie Mason, which those characters were Jackie Mason and Dean Martin that he was mimicking. And
yeah, John Wayne apparently too.
I remember growing up watching those. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
Y'all are a lot older than me.
Whoa.
Pictures he showed me are black and white.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah. Jackie
anyway.
Mason, Dean Martin, right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Quite funny, but anyway.
Yeah.
For the record,
I like a good impression.
Yeah. I will say we didn't mention it, but what was June 6th? The anniversary of the invasion of Normandy, D-Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was.
I've got a friend who's over there visiting right now.
Really?
He's posted several photos to Facebook of Omaha Beach and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And so, all right. Well, that wraps up the news for the week. Thanks for following along and taking the time to watch and listen. We're grateful for you for that.
Remember, you can watch or you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version on iTunes or Spotify, and make sure to subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes.
That's right. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMinn.
And we'll see you next week.